This is the Mind of the Meanie. Here are your hosts, the Blue Meanie and Adam Barnard.
Peace, world, and welcome everybody to the Mind of the Meanie, your weekly peek into the world according to former WWE superstar and ECW original, the Blue Meanie. We'll cover wrestling, music, movies, sports, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in the Mind of the Meanie. I'm your tour guide, Adam Barnard, and he is the Blue Meanie. Meanie, what's on your mind?
It's nice that you can join us. I understand you were a victim of the internet blackout of 2024.
As if this year couldn't get any fucking weirder. Yes, I was. Well, first of all, good morning to you, sir. And good morning to you listening. We appreciate you each and every week here. Glad to be here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a fucking disaster, man. It was terrible.
Brother.
I was in Indianapolis for my shoot job, and I was there for just about through the week. I was there Monday night into Friday morning. And at my work, I won't tell you where I work because that's not what we do here, brother. But I got an email about like all of our systems and shit being down, like all of our, they call it the SSO logins, like a single sign-on platform and all that bullshit. All that stuff was down, payroll, everything. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? So I wait, and I'm like, all right, well, it's probably just something with again, like, you know, whatever it is. And all of a sudden, I get an email on my phone saying that, like, flights may be delayed, or like there's this giant global outage, right? Like all these things start pinging all over the place. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So I get to the airport. It's probably, I got up at like 4 o'clock because it was up at like 3:30. I had to get to the airport to drop the rental car off. And I get back to the airport, and there's lines around the fucking entrance, just wrapped all the way down on either side, everywhere. I'm like, oh, fuck, what is this? So I get there, and the woman's like, yeah, if you're just dropping your bag, the line's all the way outside. They were like, all flights are grounded right now. I'm like, are you kidding? Are you joking right now? What do you mean everything's grounded? So I ended up standing in line there to drop my bag for probably about an hour. I ended up in TSA for another 40 minutes, and my flight was supposed to leave at like 7. I think it was 7:24 in the morning. I didn't end up taking off until I think it was closer to 10 o'clock. And then I remember messaging you like, hey, I think we're still going to be good for the recording today. And then I was like, maybe not. I don't think it's going to work today, man. So, yeah, it was a fucking mess, man. Every airline, with the exception of Southwest, was boogered down. But that's because they control all their systems from a Nintendo 64 in Mesa, Arizona. But no, it was a mess, man. Were you affected by the outage at all? The crowdstriking?
No. But I'm like seeing all these stories about like how radio stations who rely on the internet for their music and all that stuff had to like scramble and let's see what we got over here in the let me see what we got on this thumb drive. Let me put my cell phone up to the microphone so I can have the news ticker. You know, God. Hopefully it's something like a documentary can be made of it. You know, just all the stuff that. And thankfully, it doesn't seem like there was too much damage. And now that I said that, I'm sure every horror story will come out and I'll look like an idiot. But yeah, man, I'm just hearing a lot of stories. You know, here in Philly, I saw footage of people in lines that are just like you said, wrapped around the building, and you know, what are you gonna do? I mean, this is the world we live in now. You know, we're in a digital world. I'm an analog man in a digital world. You know. So.
Yeah, there was nothing we could. I mean, I was just, and the worst thing about this kind of shit is listening to people scream at the employees in the airports. And
I'm sure that does wonders.
Yeah, of course. It makes everything go faster. Of course, that's what you do. Like, that's the secret sauce, right? You just yell at people and it gets done. Like, these poor people, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. And these just listening to, well, how am I supposed to get down to Mississippi now? Like, no one's going anywhere, dude. Have you looked around anywhere? Like
carrier pigeon. Roll yourself up in a piece of paper. Asshole.
Fucking dickhead, man. I was like, come on, man. Like, it's just stop being such a prick right now. Everybody is affected by this. There's always a handful of people that do that shit. And it's just so annoying. And I like I said, it seemed like everybody was fine. Once I got up into the air, it seemed like all the airport stuff was starting to kind of like take off. I know Krista B, a friend of mine who works up at Hot 97, she was trying to get down to Atlanta, and she saw my Instagram story, and she was like, she texted me, she was like, oh shit. Like, I just got to the airport. Am I going to be stuck? I was like, good luck. Have fun. It's going to be a bad one. It's going to be a bad one today. So now I'm curious to see what happens with this, with all the shit comes out of it. I think what I heard is that somebody was trying to update the software or something in a system called Crowdstrike, which is basically what Microsoft runs off of and a whole bunch of these different things. I know the Canadian Broadcasting Company was completely off the air. Like they just had nothing on the air because they run off of this software. And it's crazy, man. Just nuts. So we're going to send a special shit your pants out to Crowdstrike and not pleasant. The Angel Hernandez of internet compliance reporting and systems. But yeah.
I mean, there's a slight warning that this could happen. Mm-hmm. You know, they're like, well, in a couple of days, it's good. And lo and behold, it happened.
Yeah.
You know,
we'll see.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah.
All the banks are down. Sorry.
Tyler Durden.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Fucking totally goddamn. Oh, God. Fight Club in this bitch. It was crazy, man. This is absolutely insane. So.
That's why I don't mess about traveling all that much. I mean, I like traveling.
Right.
But sometimes just the act of traveling is just like, oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
That's what we had talked about, like we've talked about before with you road tripping. Like literally my first thought in my head, I swear to God, I'm standing at the airport and I went, Meanie. And I pulled up my phone to try to get a rental car just so I was like, well, it's 9 hours. It's under the 12-hour minimum. Like I can get there and, drive out. But all of their systems were down too. Because I was going to walk down because I had a really nice Dodge Durango. It was a 2024. It was fucking bumped really hard. Like it was great, right? And I was going to walk down and be like, hey, is there any way I could just like drive this to Philly? Like, is that possible? You know, like I'm going to be stuck here. But I didn't even get my checkout paperwork until yesterday morning. Like everything was down. So it was not pleasant. But happy to be here. Happy to be here with you, sir. What's going on this beautiful, sunny, less humid day today in Philadelphia?
Dude, yeah, I know. It's like we're giving a weather report every week.
Heat wave 2024.
Dude, you leave the house and I go from my house to the car door. I'm like drenched. I'm like, oh, geez. Mm-hmm. But not too bad today. It's like 80. So survivable.
Yep.
Yep. But man, just doing good. Busy this week, with everything, all things Meanie. I'm reading reports, as we record this on July 21st at 9:20 a.m. I'm seeing all these reports that TNA had a pay-per-view last night, and I'm seeing a lot of good feedback and buzz, and that makes me happy. TNA seems to be on the upswing, and I've been really enjoying what they're doing, and apparently they had some good surprises last night, and hopefully I get a chance to check out the pay-per-view some point this week. But just wrestling in general just seems to be good. Between WWE with the Wyatt Six and the Bloodline angles and stuff like that, and just wrestling just seems to be doing really good now. I'm just really happy for everybody who's doing good.
Well, it's nice, man. Like I won't spoil anything in case you haven't watched the TNA event. I know a handful of things that took place last night, but obviously I haven't watched it yet. It's the first time in a while, and I hate to say this, but like it's the first time in a while where it's like, wow, I really want to watch TNA. And it's not because I think it's the WWE influence in it. I just feel like they're really firing and doing well, right? Like Mustafa Ali, Nick Nemeth, Jordan Grace, like all these people that are involved, AJ Francis, like it just seems like they have a really stacked deck right now, like kind of across the board. And I love it. I think it's great. It's intriguing, and I the Joe Hendry stuff is great too. Like there's never a reason not to enjoy Joe Hendry being on the show. But No, I think I'm excited that there's something cool coming. I'm hoping that they do something cool at SummerSlam with them. I would imagine they might. I would be interested to see them bring some of those folks to the main roster. Because I know it's kind of mostly NXT right now, but they're firing off on. Actually, I was going to ask you about this too. We could talk about the Wyatt Six in a minute because they had a great spot with Eric Rowan the other day, but. I wanted to talk to you about the Bloodline. Obviously, we've been talking a lot about Jacob Fatu. We've been talking a lot about the Bloodline stuff. There's conversation, obviously, on Twitter, which is always conversation. But there's talk about Roman Reigns returning in 2 weeks at SummerSlam, and we're going to probably give you a live show or at least a recording SummerSlam weekend when I'm in Cleveland. So we'll give our takes to you. But I wanted to know what your thoughts were about Roman Reigns returning and potentially being a babyface as opposed to a heel when he comes back. What do you think about that?
I mean, it seems inevitable. Solo's trash talking him, Roman ain't coming back. And, the fact that like every person they've been laying out, they've been given the Shield power bomb to.
Yeah.
Where they, load him up and he's, doing the power bomb through the table. And, you take out the wise man, you're bringing in all these new guys. I'm assuming unauthorized, but, he has no, dude, when he comes back, it's, I know that it's a stadium show, but if it had a roof, that roof would, fly off the hinges there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, it's, can't believe SummerSlam's, this close,
Crazy.
But, dude, there's no way he's not a babyface when he comes back. There's no way he's not going to be like a monster babyface.
Yeah.
When he comes back. And, it'll be refreshing. It'll be a nice little reset, refresh. I mean, he'll still be, the same Roman Reigns, but, the saying is, sometimes you have to go away to, be, reappreciated, so when he comes back, I mean, he was a pseudo baby face anyway, people will always throw up the ones and, but, so he was always kind of like a pseudo baby face. But now, like, he'll be a certified, genuine baby face for everything that, has happened in his absence.
Yeah.
So, I can't wait to see it.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm excited to see where they go with the story. Again, I think, for me, it's like there's no other alternative to Roman being a babyface. But I don't think he's going to be a babyface the way Cody is. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be that, like, white meat, like, kissing babies or shaking babies and kissing hands. It's going to be very much like, I'm doing this because I'm forced to do this. Like, I don't want to work with you fucking guys, but they've taken everything from me and now I have to reclaim my spot. And then that's how maybe they tie into like Roman and Rock or Roman and Cody too. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of different layers and variables they have here, but I think the Solo stuff again is I'm starting to get sold on it a little bit just because Jacob is there. But I think it's, again, it's like, everybody's like, oh, he's cosplaying as the tribal chief. It's like, well, that's the fucking point. That's the whole point of the story. So,
while the boss is away, the kids will play, and, Roman will come back and have to set him straight.
Yeah.
My prediction is, I think Roman will reunite the OG bloodline with the Usos and Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
People are like, well, Sammy's on Raw. That doesn't matter.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, like, well, what's the penalty of him appearing on SmackDown from Raw? I mean, it's come stop.
Yeah, like, come on, guys.
So somebody said that to me. I was like, please, just stop.
Saying it to you of all people cracks me up. Yeah, it's like, come on, guys.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter. But yeah, and I think it'll lead to eventually, like a Survivor Series, maybe War Games. OG Bloodline versus Bloodline 2.0.
Yep.
And Survivor Series steel cage, I can see that happening. But we'll see what happens. I'm all here for it. The stuff Solo's been doing where he's sitting at the head of the table.
Yep.
With his sergeant at arms, next to him, and Jacob behind him. Doing the striking the pose with the hands together.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And
so
they're targeting anybody who aligns themselves with Cody.
Yep.
So they went after Kevin Owens, and it's so good, man. Yeah. So that really, really good stuff. WWE's clicking all. If I could use all the cliches, they're clicking all cylinders.
They are, man.
Dude,
they are.
It's a good time to be a wrestling fan.
I was sitting here thinking while you were talking about, going after anybody that they're affiliated with. I was thinking about, the Wyatt Six and how it sounds like eventually they'll tie in all that together because you have, the Chad Gable stuff, which is fantastic with Bo Dallas, and they're really starting to let that breathe. And, it's just every week, it's just so good, right? And then, Gentleman Jey Uso is now, every time the Wyatts are coming out, Jey Uso seems to be involved in that somehow, right? Like, the Fireflies, and, I think they're kind of like, for me, nothing's an accident, right? Especially right now in Papa H's territory, like nothing is an accident. And so I think what's eventually going to happen is, because as we've talked about before, one of the things that I think is the saddest thing, outside of, missing out on the opportunities and him, losing his life and stuff, but some of the stories that they weren't able to do with Bray Wyatt, one of them being, Tribal Chief versus Bray Wyatt. Like, that would have been unbelievable, right? Based on
amazing.
Based on their history and all the shit you could have told with that. Oh my God, it would have been fucking great. But I think eventually that those two worlds will intersect with the Bloodline and the Wyatts, and I think it's just going to be. I can't wait for that to happen. Like, it's going to be so good. So I wanted to think. What did you think of did you get a chance to watch the Eric Rowan video clip? And Bo Dallas's interaction with Chad Gable. Did you get a chance to check any of that out?
Yeah, the Rowan stuff was so good.
Yeah,
because it was real. The best stories or the best promos are based on reality. And he's talking about losing Bray and then losing Brody, and then he has to sit there and wonder who's going to miss me? Who would have missed me?
Yeah.
And I think in everybody, in the back of everybody's mind, people wonder, who would even miss me if I was to go away?
Yeah.
And that's heavy stuff. I've thought about it. I was like, when I was battling I still battle, anxiety and depression, and nobody would miss me, and for a man, a guy who's a monster, 6'6", huge. I've stood next to him, and I felt dwarfed. But for a man of that stature to say those things out loud, heavy stuff, man. Great stuff.
Yeah, and
just on the verge of tears, and you kind of sit there, and I'm gonna sit there watching it, him do his promo. And I'm kind of like fighting him back myself.
Yeah, and
it ties so perfectly into the evolution of all the characters. They did the Bo one. They did, they've done Eric. I want to see where the rest of the Wyatt characters, they're what led them into. Where they're at now, especially Nikki Cross. She's fantastic. She's awesome. Big fan. And like I said, we've seen like hints. They've been. She's been like catatonic for like months leading up to this, and now to officially be part of the Wyatt Six. Be unveiled as a member of the Wyatt Six. I can't wait to see what her promo is and stuff like that. And then, this week, Gable calls them out, and Bo comes out, and and the Creed brother comes out, and they jump him and beat him up, and as they're beating him up, he's laughing,
Yeah.
And bringing up Fight Club, that scene in Fight Club, those guys just pen on the face, and he's on Tyler Durden's face, and he's just laughing and laughing. He spits the blood in his face, and it's just reminiscent of that. And the Whites come out, and the Creeds, and they all powder, and they just strike the pose. Yeah, and this is going to be interesting because now you got, Bo comes out without the Uncle Howdy attire. It'll be interesting to see how they tie all this in, wrestling wise. Will they wrestle in that gear, or do they come down in the ring with that gear and peel it off? And it's interesting. I'm totally invested to see where it goes.
Yeah.
Because this, Bray wrestled, with the Fiend mask on and stuff like that. And it'd be interesting if he does that duality, of characters where one day he's, Bo, and the other day the next time he's, Howdy. So
yeah,
I'm totally down for it. I'm totally into seeing where it goes. And like I said, WWE's clicking on all cylinders right now.
It's funny you mentioned it about Bo Dallas and Uncle Howdy and the duality of those worlds. Friend of the show, Alfred Kunawa from Pro Wrestling Bits. If you're not following him on YouTube, you definitely should, because his channel is one of the best, and he's a great guy. But he put up a video the other day about the Wyatt Six and how it's really outside of maybe The Undertaker, the most successful, suspend your disbelief and suspend reality, horror type of movie. And the reason is because, for all intents and purposes, Vince McMahon is not impatient and kind of pushing it along, right? You're not seeing any of it's not like, we heard Edge talk about the stuff that they wanted to do with the Judgment Day and more of the supernatural shit that they were trying to push. And Edge was like, I don't know if that's really going to work. But this feels like a real life horror movie. This feels like everything is dark and you can't really see what they're doing, and it's they have the shit jumping out at you at the end, and it's I'll send you the link for the video to take a look at it, and we'll post it in the show notes here as well. As you're watching this clip, you'll see the link for the video after this. But what are your thoughts on that? Do you think I should say, let me rephrase, do you think that they should wait to pull the trigger on them being in the ring?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, they've done the character profiles. So far they did Bo talking to Howdy, and then you got Eric talking. I mean, you still got 3 or 4 members left, so that's another. They do one a week. That's another month and a half, and there's still that's I don't know if they're still going to be doing messing with Gable, or they start messing with other people that were attacked in that initial debut, when the gorilla position was torn apart and you see all the bodies laying all over the place. It was, Chad was kind of like the first person you saw. So it'll be interesting to see who they mess with. And like you said, there's, Jay keeps, popping up and where he does the, all right, I'm out. And he does the one thing and then he runs away, and
it's so good.
The smartest thing ever,
He's the smartest fucking guy in the room. Yeah. And then out the fucking door, man. See ya.
Yeah.
So good,
it reminds me of Eddie Murphy's Delirious thing when they're talking about, my child's in the TV, shit, I would have left the house. A ghost has told you, get out. I'm tipping the fuck out the door. I don't know. My kid's in the TV. Well, you can't mess her. She's only 6. You can't be doing that. Just leave. Leave that house.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, they got plenty of characters to do those personality profiles with and explain, their turn to the Wyatt Six.
Yeah.
So you got to at least go a good month and a half, 2 months, with these characters to draw stuff out. And who knows, when they'll actually start, wrestling. But, I'm fascinated that they're actually showing Bo in his street clothes as Bo.
Right.
And then, there's the Howdy thing where Howdy's the alter ego. So it's really well done, man. It's really well done. And, it's pro wrestling. Pro wrestling is its own world. It writes its own rules.
Yep.
And, I can't wait to see what they do.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, like you said, seeing what's next with them and how it goes. Like I said, I think they have a wonderful opportunity to really, nail this story. And I hope that when I'm in Cleveland in 2 weeks, that Bo Dallas and the Wyatt Six show up, because I might fucking lose my mind to experience that in person. Like, if you watching the Fiend entrance was unbelievable live, but being able to maybe be a part of this would be super dope. But I wanted to kind of pivot real fast for something we talked about last week. We talked about Joey Styles. And we got a lot of great feedback on that. So go ahead and check. If you look above Meanie there, go ahead and hit subscribe right there on youtube.com/@mindofthemeanie and check us out and listen to last week's show. But we talked about Joey Styles last week, and it got me thinking of some other people that you may have interacted with or interfaced with during your time in the pro wrestling world. And Sam Roberts, friend of the show, at the beginning of his show, he has an intro by, the legendary Howard Finkel. Yes. And I wanted to know if you had any good blue stories about Howard Finkel, the Fink, if you will, and if you had any good stories with him.
Howard Finkel was so cool. Such a good guy. And when you go, you go to WWE and you start doing TVs and, Howard, besides, being a, world famous, world renowned ring announcer and probably one of the best ever, he would do stuff behind the scene. He would book the travel. And, if you had, you had a flight you had to catch or, a flight, need to be rerouted or it was, "Hi, Brian, this is Howard from the office. Calling to give you your flight information. You're leaving on Tuesday." And, just kind of cool that, I wish, I had the technology back then to record voicemails. Cause just to have a voicemail from Howard Finkel, it's just oh, dude, this is ridiculous. This is awesome. This is my childhood right here. Growing up watching WWF TV, they would have matches where they would have voiceovers for the upcoming dates. This set. Hello, folks. Just a reminder that we'll be at the Ag Hall in Allentown, Pennsylvania, on Friday, whatever. Or we'll be in Poughkeepsie. At the or whatever. So to have that voice coming through my phone saying my name, pretty cool.
That is pretty sick.
Pretty cool. But you're at TVs and, you got a little bit of downtime. You're walking around and you just sit down next to, Howard and just, bullshit and shoot the breeze. And, well, a lot of people don't realize or may not know is Howard is a old school rocker. He's a rock and roller, man. He's he was huge into the Stones and, rock bands and stuff like that. And me and him bonded over my love for the Black Crowes. And I bring it up to him. He's like, "Oh, I love the Black Crowes." And we just sit there and just talk about music. And then, years ago, a buddy of mine, Jeremiah, gave me, back when making CDs was a rare thing.
Yeah.
My buddy Jeremy made me this CD of Black Crowes B-sides. I made a copy for Howard and I gave that to him. He's like, "How are these songs not on the radio?" Just kind of thing, I played that song before, the Black Crowes song, "Must Be Over." And he's like, "How is this song not on the radio? This song's great," and just, talk. And then, we would talk about, sports. He was a huge Jets fan. And, when he heard he got ill, then, you heard he got ill, and then that just, bummed me out because you would see him. I would always see him at like conventions.
Yeah.
There's a convention, Legends of the Ring. They would always have Howard there. He would have his own merch table, and then they would have him do announcements, throughout the convention for different things going on, and always greeted me with a smile. Always gave me a hug. I gave him a hug, and just one of the all-time best. A lot of people might not know he was the very first employee of the WWF after Vince bought the company. The first one they signed, the work for the company, and he was such an asset.
Yeah.
They always have those things. Master. He was like the master of the trivia with Outthink the Fink, and early days of AOL, they had a feature called Outthink the Fink, and you go in there and try to do the trivia and stuff like that, and just I think back to all my childhood memories. The launch of WrestleMania, launch of Hulkamania. He was right there. I know World Wrestling Federation champion. Just think of all the memories and the voice of my childhood. Howard Finkel. And I was very fortunate to get to know him.
Yeah.
He's a very dedicated employee. He loved the wrestling business, and the wrestling business loved him back.
I have something that I'm going to play for you real fast because I'm not sure how many people have heard this in quite some time, but it's actually the Fink announcing you coming to the ring, and I haven't had a chance to clip this yet, so we're going to play it through a little bit, but I just want to get your thoughts on this.
Here comes the Blue Meanie, one of Vince Russo's favorite superstars. He has a chance to win the Intercontinental title here at New York.
Scheduled for one fall is for the World Wrestling Federation Intercontinental Championship. In the ring, the challenger, weighing 333 pounds, the Blue Meanie.
Sick, dude. Sick. Absolutely sick, man.
Yeah.
Blue. He put all that English on it too, man. That's fucking great, man. So
That's
cool,
all.
man. That was
from. I don't realize I challenged for the Intercontinental belt a couple times. So
that is so. I'm looking at this. It's The Godfather. It looks like it was from Sunday Night Heat in 1999, if I'm recalling correctly.
Yeah,
Which that's pretty sick, man. How many times did you challenge for the Intercontinental title?
at least 3.
Crazy.
I know I challenged Godfather, challenged Jeff Jarrett, and I might have been Godfather twice. I'm sorry. And once was Val Venus when he was Intercontinental champion. I just happened to work out that way. It's pretty cool.
That is pretty sick, man.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants to be WWF champion, but like the Intercontinental belt was like the cool championship. That was the working man's title.
Yeah.
But it was cool. It was so cool to hear, Finkel. I'm very fortunate that I've had, Howard Finkel announce me on my way to the ring. And I think me and Stevie Richards are the last match that Gorilla Monsoon ever called.
Whoa.
Yeah. And this was like a couple. Yeah, it was for like an international market. Somebody posted it on Twitter and shared it with me. And I'll have to find it. And
yeah.
You can play it on here, but it's Gorilla Monsoon. I want to say Bruce Pritchard and maybe Kevin Kelly.
Wow.
And it was me and Steve Richards versus Scotty Zappa and Derek Dukes. And Gorilla did the play-by-play on it, and from what I've been told is, that was one of his last, commentary. So, dude, just I've had the opportunity to do so many cool things.
Unbelievable.
That say these. Well, I think I met Gorilla as a fan, and then I met him backstage a handful of times. He was definitely at WrestleMania. I went up and said hello to him, shook his hand, But, to get to know the Fink on a regular basis, Howard Finkel, I cherish those moments.
Man, I'd love to hear that audio of Gorilla Monsoon calling that match. That is crazy. That is. Yeah. I'm hoping he hits you. Eradicated Zombie said, I hope he, what a maneuver. I hope that was one of. I might piss myself if I hear that, but I would.
It's happening, folks.
Right in the solar plexus. Now I would.
Right in the bread basket.
It's in the bread basket. If you can find that audio, man, we will absolutely play it here on the program.
Oh, I definitely have it. It just I thought about it on the fly, and I have to do some digging for it, but. Maybe we'll save that for next week.
I was going to say, if anybody out there, if you can find it before Meanie does, DM it to us at Mine of the Meanie, and we'll absolutely play it on the show, because I fucking would love to hear that. I have another clip that I'll play next week. It's another Howard Finkel announcement. It looks like it's you versus Tom O'Sullivan from around the same time. So I'm going to clip that up.
Oh, that must have been one of Massachusetts. I remember that match.
Yep. Yeah, that's what it looks like I have on the notes here. So we'll play that for you next week. We hope you enjoyed hearing the Fink on the show. But last thing before we get into our favorite segment of the show, I was on the old Instagram, the IG, the other day, and somebody has taken, as the kids would say, they had a clip of Kendrick Lamar dancing, but instead of over the hopscotch that he did when he was mocking Drake, he's walking on a sidewalk, and it's all fall stuff related. And it got me to thinking about the playoffs, baseball playoffs, and the World Series and the fall coming up, because I'm fucking sick to death of this heat. And I wanted to know where you thought we were shaping up coming through to the end of baseball season here. We're coming up rapidly to the playoffs, and kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, just seems like the Phils are hitting a little bit of a hiccup right now. No, they shit the bed right before the All-Star break. Mm-hmm. Alec Boehm did, really good during the home run derby. Yeah. At the All-Star game, and they just come out of the break and losing two games to Pittsburgh, which sucks. But thankfully, Atlanta lost their game. Atlanta had 2 games yesterday, and they lost one of them. So Phils are still 7.5 up. And Phil's still looking good. JT Realmuto came off the injured list, so the team seems to be at full strength right now. I think you're just coming out of the gates a little bit rusty.
Yeah.
Some rusty gates. That's a good jobber name.
Rusty Gates. Rusty Gates.
Tagging him with Matt Burns. But the Phils will be all right. You know, it's just there. 1.3. You score 7 runs, but the bullpen gave up. The first game at Pittsburgh, and then the last night, they're only able to score 1 run. It's like hopefully they get home quick and get some home cooking and get back into the shape. But every team has a little rough patch, and people are like saying, eventually, the Phils will have a rough patch and they'll get through it. And I think that's what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, I know. I was watching a little bit. I caught up a little bit on the home run derby, and it looked like, from what I could see, Alec Boehm was crushing it. So I hope that the Phillies are able to pull out of this. Yeah. But, like I said, I'm excited. I'm excited for fall. I'm excited for I'm just excited to not sweat my fucking ass off every day. Like, that's kind of where I'm at right now.
My favorite meme is like you see like either a park or whatever, and there's tons of leaves on the ground.
Yeah.
It's out there's undercover dog turds. You're walking through the leaves and you just step in some dog shit.
That's gonna be all. And the snow is the worst. Like when it's a fucking big snowstorm out here, especially in this neighborhood, man, they just let the dog shit everywhere, and then you're like, oh great, I'm glad I got these in these brand new sneakers, right in the tread of it too. So you got to fucking spray it down with the hose out back, and it's 10 degrees. You
You got to
fuckers.
moonwalk that shit off.
You're doing the cigarette stomp on the ground, trying to get that shit right out of the grooves.
Little curb stomp,
Just scrape it like motherfucker.
Scrape it off like fucking pancake batter off a fucking spoon
God.
or a knife.
Oh my God. Awful, awful piece of business right there. Speaking of, last thing I promised.
Shit.
It starts. He's gonna puke. The last thing I wanted to talk about today, before we get into our favorite topic, it seems like every couple of weeks now, just like in all things, another pop culture icon or celebrity passes away.
Oh my God!
This week, Bob Newhart passed away at the age of 94, which is unbelievable. And I wanted to get your thoughts, if you had any, on Mr. Bob Newhart.
It's funny. I'll talk about I have older friends, and then I'll bring up like a Bob Newhart. They're like, "How do you know Bob Newhart?" I was like, he was on TV when I was a kid. I like throwing names out there and messing with older friends, and they're like, "How do you know that?" So Bob Newhart, man, doesn't get talked about enough. The master of the deadpan, dry humor, just can hit you with, zingers. But I remember him from, the Bob Newhart show as a kid. And, he always seemed to be on TV. And then, he got to be in we see him every Christmas now, every year, because he's in the movie Elf.
Yeah.
So he's part of our Christmas, he'll be a part of our Christmases, till the end of time, But such a great comedian. Very influential. There's some, I'm trying to think, I ain't even going to try to attempt it. Somebody was posting a joke and, just master of the dry humor where you can just insult you to your face and they probably wouldn't even know it, in such a subtle, I would say like a harmless way.
Yeah.
But, if you're out there, man, just go on YouTube, dial up some Bob Newhart. And there's Bob Newhart show, and there's another show.
It was, I think, Newhart was the name of it, right?
Newhart.
Mm-hmm.
And that season finale of Newhart, he wakes up from a dream, and he's with his wife from the previous show. And he's like, I just had a dream that I was the manager of a bed and breakfast somewhere. It's a nice way to tie his two shows together,
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm talking about, I need to go back and watch that, some comedy that's, I don't want to call it basic, but just comedy just done right,
Yeah.
It's so good, just it's stuff you don't see anymore, a lot of comedians got to be over the top and boisterous and controversial or whatever, but he was awesome.
Yeah, he was. I'm aware of him. My parents were big fans of his show, so I'm like familiar with his work from. They didn't have streaming and stuff back when we were kids, so we couldn't really watch it, but we were familiar with who he was. But my first real experience, there were two clips that actually came on Twitter the other day that reminded me of how funny he was. He did this bit on The Simpsons, which is one of the first times I remember hearing about him. And it was at Krusty's funeral. And I can't remember the episode, but he's just deadpan. He's stuttering through this statement and he's coughing and the microphone feedback and the reverb. And it was so fucking perfect. The way he did the whole bit was just hilarious. And then I saw him, I think it was at the 97 or 98 Emmy Awards. Conan O'Brien was hosting that year, and he was Conan's doing this whole bit about how everybody goes over on their speeches, and he's got the perfect way to solve it, and he's got Bob Newhart trapped in an airtight chamber, and there's only enough oxygen for 3 hours, and he's like, and if we go over the 3 hour limit, Bob Newhart dies. There's only enough oxygen in there for him, and he's Bob's pounding on the thing, right? And he's like, good luck, Bob. We'll see you soon. He just as they're wheeling him away, he's like, help me out. I was fucking dying. I was like, this is so, amazing. It's so, he's just he's selling it, but he's not overselling it, right? It's just, he's just so good, man. Such good shit. But you're right.
So Conan put out a message, eulogizing him. That was a nice touch too.
Yeah. It was just, I mean, those kinds of shows are timeless, man. Like big fan, we've talked about it before, Cheers and Frasier and those types of, what you would consider older shows now. But it's just the way that they wrote them and the way that they filmed them. Yeah. It's timeless. Like it's evergreen. You can pick it up. There's no historical stuff in there. There's no like current things. You can just pick it up and kind of run with it wherever you're at. And I really enjoy that type of comedy. So, unfortunately, and it's another one. I mean, 94, he had a great run. It's unfortunate to lose him, but Elf is a staple here in this household in the Barnard home for wayward and troubled youth. So I'm excited to run that back for Bob. But I have a question for you, sir.
I'm interested to see what that question would be.
I'm glad you are. Are you ready to ask Meanie?
I would love to. It's time to ask Meanie anything. Ask me something.
Don't forget to tweet us your questions every single week using the hashtag AskMeanie, and you may hear them and see them on the program. So, Meanie, I got to know, we still got some of them Johns today?
Yeah, man. A surprise to no one. I got the Bellevue pumpkin pie. My goal is to make it through to next Thanksgiving.
Love it. I love it. I think you can do it. I think you can do it.
We'll see.
Yep. And today I got one of the cheap shit from Aldi. I got the Sparkling Frost Pink Grapefruit Johns, which will really spice up this microphone here. So we're going to, because it smells like spittle. Here we go. Let's crack them in 3, 2, 1. There she is.
Oh.
So good.
That's a half-hearted Sandman. But
so good. Pinkies up. Cheers,
Pinkies
beers.
Up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's good shit.
I actually remember to put mine in the fridge. So
yeah, that's good. You can see the condensation on mine, too. It's all on the fridge.
Had to, clear it off so you could see the label. Not label, but see the can.
I got 2 questions here from the Green 413. If Meanie owned a bar and could only serve one liqueur, what would it be?
It's one. Well, I don't know. It's one liquor and no beer?
Yeah, I guess not.
Just
One liquor.
straight up booze. I'm a Crown Royal guy, so probably have to be a Crown Royal. If I'm allowed to mix it, I do Crown and Crown. Crown Royal with RC Cola.
Ooh, that's a good choice right there.
Yeah, RC Cola is like an underrated soda.
Yeah. I actually prefer RC Cola over Pepsi. Don't shoot the messenger. But
yeah.
RC is superior.
I think McCuskers has RC on tap. I think that's the secret to their the cola. I think Dougie was saying, yeah, we serve RC Cola. I was like, it's amazing.
That's incredible. It just means I have to come down to McCuskers again soon because I want some RC Cola. His second question here is, did Meanie ever yell Larry at Chipper Jones?
Nah, I never got to go to. I don't think I've ever been to a Phil's Braves game. Why, I don't know.
Yeah,
but that's fine. Larry. Yeah, it blew my mind when I found out Abdul the Butcher's name was Larry.
Seriously?
Larry Shreve. Yeah, that's Abdul the Butcher. So it's like, man from Sudan, Larry.
Larry.
Hey, Lair.
Shit, if that was...
Do you have your blade, Lair?
I would call myself Abdul the Butcher, too, if that were my name. Holy crap.
Larry Shreve.
Larry Shreve.
From Ontario, Canada, of all places.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's surprising. You don't hear that every day.
Fucking Canadians.
Our last question today comes from our good friend Carlo Carlson. He says, hey, Blue and Goob.
Yeah.
Who were your favorite wrestlers growing up? I enjoyed Macho Man as a little guy, and later on, Steve Austin and The Rock. You guys rock. Keep a podcast a coming.
There's so many, man. I was a huge Tito fan.
Mm-hmm.
And then, once I started watching, Bill Watts' UWF, Dr. Death, Steve Williams, Terry Taylor, Ricky Steamboat. I hate saying just one because, I don't want to get pigeonholed. to, or paint myself in the corner. And if I go, oh man, of course, Andre, I'll say all these names and people are like, I thought you said you like Andre. I was like, obviously I like Andre. I have the man on my leg.
Yeah.
I need to mention the name of the guy who's on my leg.
Mm-hmm. I think it's pretty obvious here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was a Hulkamaniac to the age of reason, and I think I got tired of them along, with everybody else at the same time when people start booing them.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And when Flair came over to WWF, I was like, oh.
Man.
When he wrestled the Warrior, I was rooting for the Warrior, Dude, I was so pissed when Savage lost at WrestleMania 5.
Oh, yeah.
Only was, Randy Savage awesome, but like that gear he had for WrestleMania 5 was like his best gear ever.
Yeah, top-notch shit. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
But, there's a lot to choose from. To me, it's just like music. Depends on my mood.
Mm-hmm.
Some days it's, Britney Spears, and some days it's Slayer, just sometimes I run, sometimes I hide. It's just raining blood.
Hey, some days it's like that. Some days it is like that.
Mama said there be, what's it? Mama says there be days like sometimes. Yeah. I got a fucking burp that's sitting right in my fucking tits.
I hate that, dude. Well, actually, while you're waiting for that sucker to come out, I got another question from Carlo Carlson here. Hey, Blue and Goob. I just heard that 53% of men claim that they can land a plane. My question is, can Blue or Goober land a plane in an emergency situation? I assure you both, I could not.
I highly, in the words of Gorilla Monsoon, highly unlikely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God damn. Can you drive over here and pat me on the back?
You had a nice little perp there. Let me pull your figure down up here. It's like a voodoo doll. I'll pat the back of it and see if that'll help you.
Maybe another sip of seltzer. Let me see.
I don't think I could land a plane. To answer your question, Carlo, there's not a fucking chance in hell I could. I mean, maybe, but I doubt it. No. There she is.
Oh, my God.
Mrs. Meanie comes running up. Are you all right, dude?
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It's good shit, man. Well, what else is good shit is you listening to the show and doing this program with us every single week, Blue. We appreciate you, sir. And we appreciate you sending in your questions every week as well. Don't forget to use the hashtag AskMeanie, and you may hear them on the program. So, sir, I want to thank you again for being here, and I want to know where everyone can keep up to date with all things Blue when they're not listening to the program.
If you would like to support the Blue, let's start that one over.
Don't edit this, Carl. Don't edit it. Just leave it all in.
No, leave it in. Leave it in. If you, today's one of those days.
Yep.
If you would like to follow Blue Meanie on all forms of social media, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, whatever I'm on, at Blue Meanie BWO. That's where you can follow me. To support the Blue Meanie, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Blue Meanie. To support Mind of the Meanie, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Mind of the Meanie. Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand, go to collarandelbowbrand.com. collarandelbowbrand.com. Use coupon codes Meanie or use coupon codes Mind. Save 10% over there at collarandelbowbrand.com. If you're in Philadelphia, if you're in the Philadelphia area, go to JPT's for your t-shirt print needs. JPT's is a family-owned business, has been making quality printed shirts since 1986. For more information, go to jptees.com. That's the letter J, the letter P, TEES.com. MadCatBeardCare.com. Get the Blue Spruce Beard Oil and Balm. Shout out to my boy Josh Thornton, who just redesigned the new artwork for all my beard oils and my balms and stuff like that. It looks really cool. So if you're a cat lover too, go over to MadCatBeardCare.com. My God, I can't talk today. Go to MadCatBeardCare.com. And get the Blue Spruce Beard Oil and Balm. All the money goes towards taking care of the feral cats in this neighborhood. He rounds them up takes them to the vet and leaves them off better than he found them. The Ultra Pro Wrestling video game coming to all major consoles in 2024. Ultra Pro Wrestling contains not only original characters created by the awesome Hal Haney, but many real world wrestlers, including myself and many others. Go to ultraprowrestling.com or follow them at UPW Video Game on Twitter. That's ultraprowrestling.com or UPW Video Game on Twitter. The Figure Collection's Bone Crushing Series 1 variants of the Blue Meanie are available right now. All Series 1s can be ordered now at shop.figurecollections.com. That's shop.figurecollections.com. Type Blue Meanie in the search bar. Pick regular Blue Meanie or BWO Blue Meanie. Either way, there's no wrong choice. To have the Blue Meanie on your podcast, go to podstars.net, go to podstrz.net, register your podcast, book the Blue Guy, and let's have a conversation over there at podstars.net. Cameo.com/Blue Meanie BWO for birthdays, holidays, and well wishes. Book through the site, not through the app. The app takes too much money. Most of your money, if you book on the app, a good chunk of money that you're spending will not go to the town. So go to cameo.com/Blue Meanie BWO and let's make somebody's day a little bit brighter. But most importantly, Mr. Barnard, where can we find you, sir?
Oh, well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Excuse me. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Threads at This Is Goober. Yes, it's my handle. No, I'm not changing it. It's a brand, pal. So find me there. Don't forget to subscribe to my other show at Foundation Radio. You go to youtube.com/@Foundation Radio Pod. Don't forget, I'll be covering SummerSlam 2024. I'll be out there in Cleveland, Ohio in the next 2 weeks covering everything going on out there. So don't forget to tune in and check out all of my content coming up. Shout out to the homies at the 10th Ward Barbershop in downtown Lawrenceville on the outskirts of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Go ahead and get your hair cut and your beard trimmed by the homie Kane or the homie Jordan or anybody else on the team. Don't forget to schedule your appointment at 10thwardbarbershop.com. The Feinberg Method. Use promo code Goober and save 20% off of your entire purchase. My trainer, Brad Feinberg, is ready to help you with your mental and physical well-being. So to go to the FeinbergMethod.com. ProWrestlingTees.com/Mind of the Meanie. ProWrestlingTees.com/Foundation Radio. Pick up a shirt and keep the lights on at Casa de Meanie and the Barnard home for wayward and troubled youth. Don't forget to check out my stuff over at bodyslam.net. I have a bunch of new articles coming out very soon. Additionally, I've been assisting Stephanie Hypes on the Know Your Role show, covering SmackDown every single week. So go ahead and check me out there in the next couple weeks. And the episode I just did with them last week is on the Foundation Radio feed. So go ahead and check that out on the RSS feed, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. Sign up today. Tiers starting at just $10. And if you look above Meanie there, YouTube.com/@Mind of the Meanie, where you can watch this program way you're seeing it every single week, or you can listen to the audio, whichever you prefer. And don't forget to subscribe and find us on all of our socials, which are down here at Mind of the Meanie. And we appreciate you for being here each and every week. Meanie, I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, sir.
And I want to give a quick shout out to all the members of the Pod Squad who are here
Vanessa,
with us today. And we have some Lucha. We got Vanessa here as well.
Lucha.
We appreciate you. And thank you for listening. For the Blue Meanie, I am Adam Barnard. Join us again each and every week as we take a trip through the mind of the Meanie. Peace.
This episode of Mind of the Meanie is hosted and executively produced by the Blue Meanie and Adam Barnard. It was mixed and engineered by Carl Pinnell. Additional narration is provided by the executive voice, Sam Krebs. That's me. Our intro music was performed by the Swamp Candles. Our outro music was performed by Chikara. Additional musical accompaniment is performed by Enrichment. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter, or X or whatever, at Mind of the Meanie, and become part of the Pod Squad by going to patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. Find our entire show archive at mindofthemeanie.com. This has been a Butts Carlton media production. Butts Carlton, proprietor.
Blue World Order. That was Blue Meanie's brain out.